this bar that increases strength 300%, peanut butter that can't be stored as fat, and a drink that's supposed to literally make you invincible.
Oh my God.
Does anyone believe that? We're testing out ridiculous fitness product claims. Some of them from peanut butter, from Andrew Huberman, cold hands, and so on. Some of the most ridiculous things in the world, but the thing is, some of them actually work.
Professor Nuts. Ridiculous claim, the world's first digestibly corrected peanut butter. The slight healthy taste it has is making me hopeful that this stuff is legit.
But just to be sure, I'm gonna talk to somebody who knows a nutrient label like nobody else on Earth.
All I know is this product is 100% a scam. I would pray that they could make something that just would help you to not absorb all these fats and calories. I would 100% be using it.
And so who doesn't like a good nut? I mean, I certainly do. The problem is, this is a scam. Will's face when I told him that there's no way that this is actually possible, well, it literally was priceless.
You had regular peanut butter.
Unless you experience steatorrhea, if you shit your pants,
Dreams with a Z are being...
And so as my voice was fading in the background, they had to cut out this video. As I went on a rant, I talked to him for 10 minutes explaining exactly why it's a scam. And so the reason they claimed it only has 40 calories, they're saying your body can't absorb the fats. Now, why is that? Well, they said they add cyclodextrin to it. That binds to the fat, making it unable to be absorbed, and so you literally shit the peanut butter out. The nut, it comes out of you. The problem is, and although that could work theoretically, they would need a significantly higher dose, about 20 times as what was put into the peanut butter. But the problem is, if they added that much cyclodextrin, it wouldn't be peanut butter. It wouldn't taste the same. It would be gross.
You had regular peanut butter.
unless you experience steatorrhea.
Steatorrhea is when the fat is in your stool. Now, why do they make these claims? Well, they had a study. The study proved it. The study had 6 participants and they used a DEXA scan. If you're doing a study to see if your body absorbs the fats in the peanut butter that you're eating, should you measure a person's body fat percentage using a DEXA scan? Or should you measure the stool that comes out of you? Because what goes in must come out, so to speak. And so if you're saying your body can't absorb those fats, the fats come out of your ass, literally. All they had to do is measure the stool. And so if this peanut butter actually did work, if you find something else on the market similar to this, and you experience bloating, stomach discomfort, pain, and when you go and take a shit, it smells absolutely horrendous, worse than normal, and the stool is floating around in the toilet, it's probably working. It probably doesn't have all those calories. The problem is, who wants to go through all that? And so unless you experience steatorrhea, you absorb those calories. And so as Will stared off in the distance, as I continued to yap, he realized this most certainly a scam.
Cold hands, ridiculous claim, increase work capacity by 300%.
Prior to watching this, I would have bet the odds of this working, that was the over-under. 1 in a million.
There's also this crazy study where the group of people who cooled their hands actually outperformed a steroid group on the bench press.
Does anyone want to believe this? I mean, you don't believe that Hussein Farhad is natural, but you believe that cooling the palms of your hands works better than steroids. I mean, if you believe this, do you believe anything?
And we're gonna see if my work capacity can increase by 300%.
Let's just listen to that number.
300%.
I mean, if he had said 3%, I would have thought, he's probably onto something. 3%. I mean, think of it. If you could put out 500 watts, let's call it for a minute. You're very fast, you go 500 watts for a minute. Now with a 3% improvement, you can go 2 seconds longer. That would be enough the difference between perhaps first place, second place, and third. 3%. It's 300%. And so 100% improvement would be you did it for a minute, now you can do it 2. You going to tell me that if you cool the palms of your hands, you could go from doing something all out for perhaps a minute, now you can do it for 2, 3, 4 minutes? I mean, I just can't fathom this. A 300%, not 30. I looked, is it a typo? It wasn't a typo. 30% improvement. Imagine if it made you 30% better. Hey, you're in a race, now you're 30% faster. You go 30% longer. It's ridiculous. It's so much, but it's 300%. I don't buy it.
On the instructions, it says the sweet spot is between 45 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
And notice that 7 to 15 degrees Celsius it's cooler than room temperature, but it's not freezing. And so just slightly cool the palms of your hands and you triple your workout performance. Triple. I mean, you might train for 3 years and not improve your performance that much.
Apparently, when we train, we don't fatigue due to our muscles. We fatigue because our body gets hot.
So when you fail, it's because the muscle heats up locally.
It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am, how depressed I am.
Does anyone believe that? So when you fail, it's not because your muscles get tired anyway. It doesn't run out of ATP, for example. You don't have lactic acid produced in the muscle. It just gets hot. Now, hear me out. Rather than cooling the palms of your hands, couldn't you just buy a proper fan? I mean, I race bikes almost every day. I have 4 fans. Without a proper fan, I bring it to the gym. You all see me doing cardio, carrying with me from set to set, machine to machine, and so on. I do believe that using a proper fan and keeping your body cool, it can increase performance. Maybe 3%, maybe even 10%. Could it be even 30? I mean, it's possible. If you're really hot and you have the proper fan, it cools you off and you can go longer. But it's not 300%. It can't be.
If you can keep core body temperature down, pyruvate kinase can remain active and you can literally do more sets and repetitions.
Perhaps we've all done it wrong. I mean, perhaps Henselman was correct after all. For decades, perhaps even centuries, we've all warmed up prior to exercise. Increase your body temperature, get a light sweat going, and then you start lifting weights. Perhaps it was the opposite. You need to cool down your body. And I'm thinking back to when I went to Miami with Alex Eubank and Hussein, and we all did cryotherapy before we lifted weights. We went into cryotherapy. It was absolutely freezing. And we did that and then we lifted weights. And so perhaps that is what we all need to do. We need to use cryotherapy, and rather than warming up, we need to cool down. Before going to the gym, don't put on your pump covers. Train naked. That is the secret. And so if you see the next trend on TikTok and so on where people warm up naked, you know where it came from. Naked training leads to more gains. And so once you've cooled down, once you've lowered your body's core temperature, you can then maintain it by adding in a few garments so long as you cool the palms of your hands. I'd also suggest using a proper fan.
It's really weird. We always associate coming to the gym, warming up on like the treadmill, getting a sweat on, getting hot, but actually cold is the secret to gains.
Cold hands, it's legit.
And there you have it. Here's the thing. This is what happens when you have a sample size of 1. 1 of 1. 1 of 1. It could have been he had extra pre-workout. He could have taken more terkesterone. He could have taken more GO2 max. Perhaps he had an extra few calories before going to the gym. Perhaps his body fat percentage went up because remember he had dieted previously. Perhaps his testosterone levels were now back to normal. There are so many factors, and so I don't think it's enough to conclude that this isn't a scam based on one workout with Will Tennyson. Now, if he continues to do this, perhaps one day he uses it, the next day he doesn't, the next day he doesn't use it, the next day he does, and he repeats this for a month and says every single time that I cool my hands down, my workout capacity, it's greatly improved. Now he says, look, it's not 300%, but even if it's 30, that would be worth it. If there's a 30% improvement in work capacity, I don't even care if it's 5%. It's worth it. Based on what I'm seeing, I'm not going to say it's a complete scam, just it's greatly exaggerated. 300%, come on. It's not 300%. Will didn't go from doing the lift for 11 to getting 20, 30 some odd reps. It's not going to do that. But is it possible it makes it a little bit better? Maybe, and so for now, it's not a scam.
Well, we use Macro Factor, the quickest, easiest way to track your calories.
And so Will is promoting Macro Factor app. It says macrofactorapp.com. It says use code WILL for 2-week free trial.
Workout candy, ridiculous claim, best pump guaranteed.
So I've been handing out the candy at the gym. Call me Call me the Jim Willy Wonka.
And so he's handing it out like candy at the gym. Everyone's trying it. And so here's the thing. I do believe that it works. It's very expensive for what you're getting. And so why not just eat some candy, some gummies? And we're going to soon be selling creatine gummies, for example. So you could have your creatine gummies as a candy, and you could have your Blue Lobster pre-workout. And so I wouldn't suggest you get the candies. You can. I mean, do what you want. I don't care. I'm calling this not a scam.
PR Lotion. Ridiculous claim. 25% more high-intensity intervals before exhaustion. 16% more in total pounds weight lifted. 53% reduction in DOMs. Perform harder for longer.
Coming from the guy who tried out the cold, and so having already done the cold palm test, saying 300% improvement, Will's saying it has a ridiculous claim like 25% more high-intensity intervals before exhaustion, 16% more in total pounds, 53% reduction in delayed onset muscle soreness. I mean, those numbers, they seem possible. It seems possible. I mean, pre-workout alone, I could go harder. I feel better. I do believe that these numbers are actually possible.
I'm getting super generous with it. Probably gonna do 2 coats on these. Well, I'm all cream covered and ready to take over the world.
And so remember, you can absorb things through the dermis, the skin. It can be absorbed, so you rub it on your body and you can absorb it. And so you don't have to simply ingest everything. So for example, think of this. There's literally testosterone cream. And so you're a guy, you're rubbing on the cream, perhaps on your gonads and so on. We don't know where you're rubbing it. Rub it where you want. But let's say right after rubbing it, your shamuta comes over and she gets close and physical with you. Now, some of that cream can rub onto her, and so she may, in fact, get some of those negative side effects, voice deepening and so on. And so you got to be careful where you rub your lotion. Be careful.
Holy shit. Well, that was weight that I've never touched before. That's 10 pounds up. From last week, I've also added 2 reps every single set.
Is this because he previously had cooled down the palm of his hands? Is Will cooling his palms? Perhaps his palms are sweaty, knees weak, gregging his Doucette already. 50 keys of Turk seized at the border already. Dropping bars. Interested in Turkesterone, Turk Builder Max? Click the link in the description. Code Greg, 15% off.
After I moved on to the leg extension, where the burn is probably the worst of any exercise you can do, surprisingly, it was much less. I increased the weight, had more control, and had less burn.
It's possible that Will is getting all of these gains because he's now in a calorie surplus. Remember, prior to this, he was dieting for bodybuilding competition for over 200 days. Now, he was aided by Turk Builder Max and so was able to maintain the majority of strength throughout and completely transform his physique. He had an incredible physique. The world was talking about it. People had to make natty or nots on Will Tennyson, saying, no way is this guy natural. But now that he's back off of the diet, he's gaining weight, he's eating more calories. The weights, they're going to feel lighter. He's getting bigger. Trust me, it's a lot easier to lift more weights, to have better workouts when you're in a calorie surplus compared to when you're eating in a deficit.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Is Will gregging his Doucette? Was he willing his Tennyson?
Look at this. What the heck? PR Lotion. Can't believe I'm saying it. Legit. David Barr. Ridiculous claim. Humans aren't perfect, but David is.
Too legit to quit. Okay, and up next to David Barr, I've got a love-hate relationship with the David Barr because I had a brand new protein bar in the works. And also Blake is actually suing them because he had a spaghetti sauce in the works and we couldn't use the EPG. And so have to completely redo over the ingredients to the protein bar. I was so excited. It was going to have more protein than last time, less calories than last time. You were going to love it and no longer can do it. And so love, hate, David versus Goliath is going to be the name of my protein bars. You get it, right? Goliath, David. Some of you probably don't.
I am going to be rating these bars on a scale from 1 to 10. 10 being the goats, like Bear Bell, grenades. Those kinds of bars.
Seco, those kind of bars. And so it's not quite as good as a Seco bar, but it definitely has very good macros. However, the price is through the roof. Remember, we're sold out right now, but we have our protein bars, a dozen, for 20 bucks. I know that Mepsigram ordered some the other day. It was $72 for a dozen. That's how much it costs her to get those bars. In comparison, mine are up for 20. $20.
It tastes exactly the same almost as the other one, just slightly less good. I'll give it a 6.4.
I almost thought he was going to give it a 6.5, which is my exact height, not 5'6", when I'm sitting on my wallet.
So I would say they're legit. It's legit. Good job, David.
David Bar, legit.
And so the David bar, not a scam, but wait till you see Coach Greg's bars. And so remember, for the $20, I mean, it doesn't even make sense. And so how am I selling them that cheap? Because I'm not trying to make money on them. Hey, what it is I try to get you in the door with the protein bars, and I hope that you buy something else. That's the plan. It's not a scam. I'm just doing my best to give back to you so you can buy some things and not have to pay a fortune. You get some benefit. You don't want to buy anything else. It's fine. No problem. But I'm hoping you'll see all the amazing other supplements and you'll be enticed to get something else. Code Greg, 15% off.
I think it's fair to say, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
I also thought it was too good to be true that you could cool the palms of your hands and you would actually improve your performance, but yet it did. And so you never know. Now, if you're interested in coaching, remember, I can give you all the tricks of the trade, teach you exactly how to lose weight, keep it off for the rest of your life. Blood work is read, explained to you in detail. You have weekly check-ins, unlimited texting, FaceTime with Coach Greg. That's me. I'm Coach Greg. As well as you get the diet and training, all of that. It's all included, dramatically reduced prices. And so what are you waiting for? Apply by clicking the link in the description. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like one of those 2 videos and watch them. Watch the videos. Subscribe. Remember, don't forget to subscribe. And of course, you can buy the clothing like 1 in a Million and other clothing items like the tank tops. You can get the cookbooks. You can get the training books, the Circle Diet book. Get to the website, code Greg 15% off. And until next time, I am out.